Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. We're taking not a casual stroll now, we're taking a romp through the Srimad-Bhagavatam, and we've reached the 11th canto, which is very deep and, profound. I guess deep and profound are about the same things, but explains everything we've heard before, but in a very concentrated way. These purports are very special. The ones compiled by my godbrothers, Ridananda Maharaja and Gopi Pranadana Prabhu, edited by Dravida. It's that's the A-team, so to speak, the A-team. So, lucky us. Welcome to all of you out in cyberspace. I offer a special greetings to Rasa Rasika Prabhu, who we just had a very nice exchange in which I learned a little bit more about him and where he came and when and who he is. It was very nice. And I was just telling the devotees here in the room that there's a possibility that because Rasa Rasika is very expert at WordPress and high-tech person, and there's possibility that we can have these videos, these readings and discussions that we're having every day in 3 different venues simultaneously, hopefully with the same name, to do a little branding. We haven't talked about that yet with Rasa. I don't know if you're out there, Rasa, but that's what I'm thinking. And that way just spread it to different, because not everybody goes everywhere, you have to get it out there as much as possible. Spread the taste for reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And I found out that Rasa Rasika is very interested in having japa retreats and japa forums where people get together online and chant japa together. And so it's like that. Okay. Srila Sanatana Goswami, our dearest Srila Sanatana Goswami, compiled 5 prayers to Srimad Bhagavatam called Srimad Bhagavata Mahima Stotram, and they explain everything actually. If you unpack it, all the words, you'd learn so much. So each day, let's unpack it in our hearts more and more. It goes like this. Sarva Shastra Dipiyusha Sarva Lok Satvala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaja Sarva Lokaika Drikprida. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabho Kalidvandodita Ditya Shri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Shri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshak Shadayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Shri Krishna himself. Madhika Bando Matsangin Madhuro Mad Mahadana Mad Nistadaka Mad Bhagya Mad Ananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu saduta dayin Hatini chuchitakada Hanamun chagadachin mam Premnarit kantayospura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So here we are, 11th Canto, Chapter 2, 39 or 38? 39. That's what I have. But I'm sometimes wrong, so let me know. Okay. Kavi is speaking, a part of the philosophy. An intelligent person who has controlled his mind and conquered fear should give up all attachment to material objects, such as wife, family, and nation, and should wander freely, without embarrassment, hearing and chanting the holy names of the Lord, the bearer of the chariot wheel. The holy names of Krishna are all auspicious because they describe his transcendental birth and activities, which he performs within this world for the salvation of the conditioned souls. Thus, the holy names of the Lord are sung throughout the world. Purport. Since the holy names, forms, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unlimited, no one can hear or chant about all of them. Therefore, the word loke indicates that one should chant the holy names of the Lord that are well known on this particular planet. Within this world, Lord Rama and Lord Krishna are very famous. Their books, Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita, are studied and relished all over the world. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is gradually becoming famous all over the world. As he himself predicted, Pritiviti Achayata Nagarigram Sarvatra Pachar Hoye Be Moranam. In every town and village on this earth, the glories of my name will be chanted. Therefore, in conformity with the authorized statement of this verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam, the Krishna consciousness movement emphasizes the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mahamantra, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, and with the Panchatattva Mahamantra. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, this blissful process of chanting the holy names of the Lord without any material conception is called Sugaman Margam, a very enjoyable path. Similarly, Lord Krishna has described the process of Bhakti Yoga as Susukam, Khartoum, very joyfully performed. And Srila Lochan Das Thakur has sung Saba Avatara Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's process for worshipping Krishna is Kevala Ananda Kanda, simply joyful. In this connection, Srila Prabhupada stated that people in any part of the world can assemble, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, read from authorized books, such as Bhagavad Gita as it is, and accept Krishna Prasadam sumptuously, just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did in Navadvip. There you are. There we are. To be successful in this program, however, Narottam Das Thakur has warned, Vishaya Chadiya. One must give up material sense gratification. If one indulges in material sense gratification, surely he will be in the bodily concept of life. One who is in the bodily concept of life will undoubtedly have a materialistic understanding of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, by considering the Lord's pastimes mundane, one will come within the category of Mayavad, or impersonalism, in which one considers the transcendental body of the Lord to be a creation of material nature. Therefore, the word asanga in this verse is very significant. One must chant the holy name of the Lord without mental speculation. One must accept Lord Krishna as he presents himself in the Bhagavad Gita, wherein he states that he alone is Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that his transcendental form is eternal, Ajopi San Avyayatma. Srila Jiva Goswami has emphasized, Yani Shastra Dvara Sat Parampara Dvara Chaloke Gitani Janmani Karmani Cha Tani Shinvan Gayans Cha. If one wants to be successful in chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, one must adopt the process as it is coming down in the Sat Parampara, the transcendental disciplic succession. And the Sat Parampara can be identified by reference to bona fide Vedic scriptures. Contrary to the opinion of uninformed critics, the followers of Krishna consciousness are not mindless or fanatical. They intelligently follow the system of checks and balances called Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. That is, one must accept a bona fide spiritual master, who must in turn be confirmed by the opinion of great saintly persons and revealed scriptures. If one accepts a bona fide spiritual master, follows the example of great saintly persons, and becomes conversant with authorized literature, such as Bhagavad Gita as it is, and Srimad-Bhagavatam, one's program of chanting the holy names of the Lord and hearing about the Lord's pastimes will be completely successful. As Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 4:9, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatpataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naitima miti sorjana. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in the material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has stated that throughout the world, the Supreme Lord is known by many names, some of them expressed in vernacular language, but any name used to indicate the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second, beyond the influence of material nature, can be accepted as a holy name of God, according to this verse. This is indicated by the word loke. One should not misinterpret the word vicharet, one should wander, to mean that while chanting the holy names of Krishna, one may go anywhere or engage in any activity without discrimination. Therefore it is stated, vicharet asanga. One may wander freely, but at the same time, one must strictly avoid the association of those who are not interested in Krishna consciousness or who are engaged in sinful life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has stated, Asat Sangatyag E Vaishnava Achar. C.C. Madhya 2287. A Vaishnava is known by his complete avoidance of mundane association. If, in the course of traveling and chanting the glories of the Lord, a Vaishnava preacher finds a submissive non-devotee who is willing to hear about Krishna, the preacher will always give his merciful association to such a person. But a Vaishnava should strictly avoid those who are not interested in hearing about Krishna. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, do not engage in hearing the astonishing pastimes and holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who do not relish the Lord's pastimes are simply executing mundane, illusory activities or indulging in false materialistic renunciation. Frustrated living entities sometimes take to dry impersonalism and avoid the descriptions of the Supreme Lord's eternal name, form, qualities, entourage, and pastimes. But if one gains the association of a pure devotee, one gives up the path of dry, speculative argument and becomes situated on the actual Vedic path of devotional service to the Lord. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the word Dvaita, or duality, expresses the false understanding that some object has a substantial existence independent of Krishna. The Mayavada conception of Advaita, which lacks any spiritual distinctions, is simply another manifestation of the mind's function of acceptance and rejection. The eternal appearance and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead never contradict the concept of Advaya Gyan, or transcendental knowledge beyond duality. Text 40. By chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then the devotee is fixed in his vow as an eternal servant of the Lord, and he gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As his heart melts with ecstatic love, he laughs very loudly, or cries, or shouts. Sometimes he sings and dances like a madman, for he is indifferent to public opinion. Purport. In this verse, pure love of God is being described. Srila Sridhar Swami has described this spiritual situation as samprapta prema lakshana bhakti yogasya sangsara dharmatitam gatim, or the perfectional stage of life, in which one's devotional service to the Supreme Lord is enriched by ecstatic love. At that time, one's spiritual duties are entirely beyond the scope of worldly affairs. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 778, there is the following statement by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Daya darite nari ailama unmata hasi kanda nachi goi yaichi madamata. While chanting the holy name of the Lord in pure ecstasy, I lose myself, and thus I laugh, cry, dance, and sing just like a madman. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately approached his spiritual master to ask him why he had apparently become mad by chanting the holy name of Krishna. His guru replied, Krishna Nama Maha Mantrara Etasabhav Ye Jape Tara Krishna Upajaye Bhav. It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. C.C. Adi 783. In this connection, Srila Prabhupada has commented, these symptoms are very prominently manifest in the body of a pure devotee. Sometimes, when our students of the Krishna consciousness movement chant and dance, even in India, people are astonished to see how these foreigners have learned to chant and dance in this ecstatic fashion. As explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, actually this is not due to practice. For without extra endeavor, these symptoms become manifest in anyone who sincerely chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has warned us in this regard about the ungodly sahajas who imitate the pastimes of the Supreme Lord in an unauthorized way, neglecting the standard injunctions of the Vedic scriptures, foolishly trying to take the position of Krishna as Purushottam, and thus making a cheap farce of the exalted pastimes of the Lord. Their so-called ecstatic symptoms, like crying, shivering, and falling on the ground, are not to be confused with the advanced features of devotional service described by Sridhar Swami as Samprapta Prema Lakshana Bhakti Yoga. Srila Prabhupada comments in this regard, one who has attained this bhava stage is no longer under the clutches of the illusory energy. Similarly, Krishnadas Kaviraj states, Panchama Purushartha Premanandamrita Sindhu Mokshari Anandayari Nahi Eka Bindu. For a devotee who has actually developed bhava, love of Godhead, the pleasure derived from dharma, artha, kama, and moksha appears like a drop in the presence of the sea. C.C. Adi 785. As already stated in the previous verse of this chapter, Gayan Vilajo Vicharet Asanga. One exhibits the ecstatic symptoms of love of Godhead when he is asanga, free from all attachment to material sense gratification. The word loka bhaya in this verse indicates that a pure devotee on the platform of prema, love of Godhead, is not at all concerned with ridicule, praise, respect, or criticism from ordinary people in the bodily concept of life. Krishna is the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and when he reveals himself to a surrendered servant, all doubt and speculation about the nature of the Absolute are vanquished forever. In this connection, Sripad Madhvacharya has quoted a verse from the Varaha Purana. Kechit unmada vadbhakta Bhayalinga pradarshakaha Kechit antadabhakta syuhu Kechit chaivo bayatmakaha Mukha prasada daryachcha Bhaktir gyeya chachanyataha nachanyataha. Some devotees of the Lord exhibit external symptoms, acting like madmen. Others are introspective devotees, and still others partake of both natures. It is by one's steadfastness and by the merciful vibrations emanating from one's mouth that one's devotion can be judged, not otherwise. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given a very nice example to illustrate ecstatic laughing and other symptoms of love of Godhead. Oh, that thief Krishna, the son of Yashoda, has entered the house to steal the fresh butter. Grab him. Keep him away. Hearing these menacing words spoken by the elderly gopi Jarati, Krishna immediately prepares to leave the house. The devotee to whom this transcendental pastime is revealed laughs in ecstasy. But suddenly he can no longer see Krishna. He then cries in great lamentation, "Oh, I achieved the greatest fortune in the world, and now it has suddenly slipped from my hands." Thus the devotee cries loudly, "So, my Lord, where are you? Give me your answer." The Lord answers, "My dear devotee, I heard your loud complaint, and so I have again come before you." Upon seeing Lord Krishna again, the devotee begins to sing, "Today my life has become perfect." Thus overwhelmed with transcendental bliss, he begins to dance like a madman. Little preview of coming attractions. Like the newsreel before the movie, you know. Srila Vishwanath, what do they call it? The trailer. The transcendental trailer. What's to come if we behave ourselves. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also notes that the word druta chitta, or with a melted heart, indicates that one's heart, melted by the fire of anxiety to see the Lord, becomes like Jambunadi, a river of rose apple juice. You know what a river of rose apple juice is? That's something. The Acharya further points out, Nama kirtanasya sarvotkarsham. The present and previous verse clearly distinguish the exalted position of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Chanting and hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also emphasized this by quoting, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalo nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatyar anyata. In this age of Kali, there is no alternative, there is no alternative, there is no alternative for spiritual progress but the holy name, the holy name, the holy name of the Lord. In his purports to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 776, Srila Prabhupada has given an elaborate explanation of this verse. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur recommends that we study the following verse in this connection. Parivadatu jano yatha tatava nanumukadova vayam vicharara yamanaha harirasamarida madhati mata bhuvibi lutama natama nirbishama. Let the garrulous populace say whatever they like. We shall pay them no regard. Thoroughly maddened by the ecstasy of the intoxicating beverage of love for Krishna, we shall enjoy life, running about, rolling on the ground, and dancing in ecstasy. Pajavali 73, garrulous, that's a very nice word. I like that word. Garrulous. Is that unruly? Gossipy. Excessively talkative. Especially on trivial matters. It's a blabbermouth. Blabbermouth. Garrulous. Text 41. A devotee should not see anything as being separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Ether, air, fire, water, earth, the sun, and other luminaries, all living beings, the directions, trees, and other plants, the rivers and oceans, whatever a devotee experiences, he should consider to be an expansion of Krishna. Thus, seeing everything that exists within creation as the body of the Supreme Lord, Hari, the devotee should offer his sincere respects to the entire expansion of the Lord's body. That pretty covers it right there. That pretty well covers it. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami has given this explanation from the Puranas. Yat pashati tat vanuraga dishayena jagat dhanamayam lubda kamuka kamini mayam itivat hare shariram. Because of a greedy person's obsession with money, wherever he goes, he sees an opportunity for acquiring wealth. Similarly, a very lusty man notices women everywhere. In the same way, a pure devotee should see the transcendental form of the Lord within everything, since everything is an expansion of the Lord. It is our practical experience that a greedy man will see money everywhere. If he goes to the forest, he will immediately consider whether it would be profitable to purchase the forest land and sell the trees to a paper mill. Similarly, if a lusty man goes to the same forest, he will look everywhere for beautiful women tourists who might happen to be there. And if a devotee goes to the same forest, he will see Krishna there, knowing correctly that the entire forest, as well as the sky canopy above, is the inferior energy of the Lord. Krishna is supremely sacred. Being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and since everything that exists expands directly or indirectly from the body of the Lord, everything is sacred when seen through the eyes of a self-realized person. Shall I read that again? You wouldn't mind? No objections? No objection certificate? Okay. Oh, all right. Krishna is supremely sacred, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And since everything that exists expands directly or indirectly from the body of the Lord, everything is sacred when seen through the eyes of a self-realized person. Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, as stated in this verse, pranamet, one should offer one's sincere respect to everything. Srila Jiva Goswami has mentioned that we should see the personal form of Krishna everywhere. This verse does not approve, I repeat, this verse does not approve of the impersonal atheistic philosophy that everything is God. Very important now. Get this. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya has quoted from the Harivangsha, Sarvam Harer Vashatvena Shariram Tasya Banyate Ananya Dipati Vachcha Patit Vachcha Tad Ananyam Tachananyam. Whoops, I did it again. You know, this, it's such a big file that when you try to move using this, you'd move a little and it goes a lot. Shiriram tasya banyate, that was it? Harivangsha? That's where we are. Okay. Sarvam harer vishatvena shariram tasya banyate ananya dipati tatcha tad ananyam udirate nachapya bedo jagatam vishno purnam gunasyatu. Because everything is under the control of the Supreme Lord, Hari. Everything is considered to be his body. He is the original source and master of everything, and therefore nothing should be seen as different from him. Nonetheless, one should not foolishly conclude that there is absolutely no difference between the material universe and Lord Vishnu, who is full of his own unique spiritual qualities. The example is often given of the sun and the sun's rays. The sunshine is nothing but an expansion of the sun globe, and therefore there is no qualitative difference between the sun and its rays. But although the sunshine is situated everywhere, and although everything is a transformation of the sun's energy, the sun globe itself, the source of the sunshine, is not everywhere. but is situated in a particular place in the vast sky and has its own specific form. If we penetrate further into the sun globe, we shall find the sun god, Vivaswan. Although pseudo-intellectuals of the modern age, who are incapable of even counting the hairs on their own heads, will consider the sun god a mythological figure. Hare Krishna. It is actually the foolish mythology of modern men to think that such a sophisticated apparatus as the sun, which provides heat and light for the entire universe, can function without intelligent administration. Transformations of solar energy can make life possible on Earth, and thus the Earth can be understood to consist of an endless variety of secondary manifestations of all-pervading solar energy. So within the sun planet is the personality Vivaswan, the chief administrator of the solar functions. The sun globe itself is localized, and the sun's rays expand everywhere. Similarly, Sri Krishna, Shyamasundar, is the original personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Swayam. He expands himself as the localized Supersoul, Paramatma, in everyone's heart. And finally, he expands his potency by his personal bodily glow, the all-pervading spiritual effulgence called the Brahmajyoti. The entire material manifestation floats within the rays of this Brahmajyoti. Just as all life on earth is a transformation of the all-pervading rays of the sun. Excuse me. Something's going around here. Oh, sorry. It's okay. Come closer. The entire material manifestation floats within the rays of this Brahmajyoti. Just as all life on earth is a transformation of the all-pervading rays of the sun, the entire cosmic manifestation is a transformation of the spiritual rays of the Brahmajyoti. As stated in the Brahma Samhita 540, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Kotishvashesha Vasudadi Vibhuti Bhinam Tad Brahma Nishkalamanantamashesha Bhutam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Therefore, the Brahmajyoti is the spiritual light that emanates directly from the body of the Lord. This universe is a transformation of that spiritual energy, and therefore everything that exists is in one sense connected directly with the personal body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is emphasized here that we should offer respect to everything that exists, recognizing it to be the energy of the Lord. The example may be given that if a man is important, his property is also important. The president of a country is the most important person in the country, and therefore everyone must respect his property. Or sometimes they have some very famous person, the house they lived at. You can go there, you pay money to go in, and everybody goes, "Oh, look at that! There's the bed he stayed in." So many things. Same. You don't do that with just anybody's house. Similarly, everything that exists is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and should be respected accordingly. If we fail to see everything that exists as the energy of the Lord, we risk the danger of drifting into the Mayavad philosophy, which according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most deadly poison for one trying to advance in actual spiritual life. Mayavadi Bhashya Shunili Haya Sarvanash. CC Madhya 6, 169. Madhya. If we try to understand Krishna alone, without the expansion of his potency, we shall not understand such statements in the Bhagavad Gita as Vasudeva Sarvam and Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. As already explained in this chapter, Bhayam Dvitiya Vinibeshatak Syat. Fear or illusion arises from thinking that there is something not dependent upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, in this verse, the specific process for overcoming this fearful illusion is given. One must train one's mind to see everything that exists as an expansion of the potency of the Supreme Lord. By offering respect to everything and meditating upon everything as part of the body of the Lord, one will become free from fear. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Suridam Sarvabhutanam. Krishna is the well-wishing friend of every living being. As soon as one understands that everything that exists is under the powerful control of one's most beloved friend, one comes to the stage in which the whole universe becomes a blissful abode. How nice is that? I'm going to say that one again. You don't mind? It's okay? Okay. Krishna is the well-wishing friend. By offering respects to everything and meditating upon everything as part of the body of the Lord, one will become free from fear. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Suridam Sarvabhutanam. Krishna is the well-wishing friend of every living being. As soon as one understands that everything that exists is under the powerful control of one's most beloved friend, one comes to the stage in which the whole universe becomes a blissful abode. Vishwam Purnam Sukhayate, because he sees Krishna everywhere. Confirmed. If Krishna's personality were not the source of everything, and if everything were not connected to Krishna, one might be proper in concluding that Krishna's personality is a material manifestation of such impersonal truth. As stated in Vedanta Sutra, Janmad Yasya Yasaha. The absolute truth is that from which everything emanates. Similarly, Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, I am the source of everything. If we see anything totally disconnected from the personal body of Krishna, we may doubt whether Krishna's personality is actually the absolute source described in Vedanta Sutra. As soon as one feels this way, he becomes fearful and should be understood to be under the control of the Lord's illusory energy. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has warned us that if we do not see everything as a manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we shall become victims of Palgu, Vairagya, or immature renunciation. Whatever we see as disconnected from Krishna will have in our mind no relationship to Krishna's service. But if we see everything as connected to Krishna, we shall use everything for Krishna's satisfaction. This is called Yukta Vairagya. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one who has experienced his own true identity understands that all things exist as paraphernalia for giving ecstatic pleasure to the Supreme Lord. Thus one becomes free from the separatist vision in which one sees the world as existing for one's own enjoyment. In the transcendental state, whatever a devotee sees reminds him of Krishna, and thus his transcendental knowledge and bliss increase. Because the impersonalist philosophers fail to see everything as belonging to the personal form of Krishna, they reject this world as having no true existence. Jagan Mitya. But since the material world is an emanation from the supreme reality, Krishna, it does in fact exist. Its non-existence is simply a creation of their imagination, and one cannot possibly act on such an imaginary platform. Therefore, having proposed an illusory theory and being unable to actually to live on such a platform, the impersonalist comes back to the material platform for altruistic or gross sense gratificatory activities. Since the impersonalist does not accept the personal proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not know how or for whom to engage the things of this world. And since it is impossible to reject this world totally while living within it, I gotta say, this is too much. This is too nice. This is too nice. Okay. Since the impersonalist does not accept the personal proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not know how or for whom to engage the things of this world. And since it is impossible to reject this world totally while living within it, he runs the risk of again becoming entangled in material fruitive activities. Therefore, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 11.5, Klesho Dikatadas Te Sham, the impersonal path of imaginary philosophy is very painful to follow. That reminds me of that story I always tell about Alan Watts when he came to UCLA while I was there, 1965, 66. You know, and he was famous for his high philosophy. You couldn't understand a word he said. And everybody was thinking, he must be so deep that I'm not good, you know, I need to study him so that I can understand what he's saying and then I'll be elevated. The guy was drunk as a skunk. Yeah. Practically all the time he was drunk as a skunk and he had no idea what he was saying. And you didn't learn what's real by listening to him. You just become confused. Therefore, it's painful. The impersonal path of imaginary philosophy is very painful to follow. Therefore, the only thing you can do to get rid of that, what? Is to drink or smoke something or do something crazy. Escape. The conclusion is that this verse is spoken to help the devotee of the Supreme Lord advance in Krishna consciousness. It can be understood from the previous verses of this chapter that the ultimate good is pure devotional service to Lord Krishna. If one falsely interprets this verse to sanction the imaginary Mayavad philosophy that everything is God, one will simply become bewildered and fall from the path of spiritual advancement. Hare Krishna. It really, I'm learning this. The more, I wasn't reading this slowly 2 years ago. I'm learning that, and it's reading in the mornings, reading this audiobook and making sure it's clear, crisp, clean, and and learning what a valuable thing it is to learn how to read properly. You know, not go too fast, and things you don't understand, you go faster. The section you're not interested in, just skip altogether and just go, okay, okay, oh, this is something good. Cherry picking. Okay, we'll stop our reading there today. Practice. Practice makes perfect. Just keep trying to understand. Trying to understand. Don't stop for anything. And eventually all the pieces of this incredibly complex picture will come together. And then we'll be able to be Krishna conscious even while we're in this world. And we won't get bewildered by this material energy, which has got nothing to do with us and has no capability of satisfying our souls. Hare Krishna. Okay, time for our daily dose of open mic opportunity. Will the real sage please stand up? Okay, Honest John, I knew that you would do it. I knew it. You had it in you. You have it in you. Go ahead. Go for it.
I like what you said on the last part about if you don't understand, just keep coming back. Some of this is deep, and it is kind of hard to understand. I don't get it all. Some of it I do, and the parts that I get, you know, they hit home to me, and then later it might come later. But you know, you gave the advice back maybe a couple year ago where you said if you don't understand, just put it on the shelf and get back to it later. And I haven't been disappointed with that advice yet. So it's a learning process, and thank you for reading and doing this. Appreciate it.
Well, I got news for you. The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you.
Yes, Prana, go ahead. Go for it.
I thought that was such a good purport about talking about the Mayavad philosophy and that conception versus the utter dualism, and how that's also fallacious, and then the Vaishnav conception. I thought that was so thoroughly done. I liked this sentence: if we try to understand Krishna alone without the expansion of his potency, we shall not understand such statements in Bhagavad Gita as Vasudeva Sarvam and Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. And I mean, I've seen how even devotees can get tripped up on these things, and it might be, you know, honest mistake, but that's why it's so important to really flush our conceptions down the toilet, and then kind of just submissively hear from the Prabhupada's purports and the devotees, because there's subtleties in there, like you said. It is kind of a little bit, I mean, these purports are so long and thorough that it is complicated. Yeah. And we have to hear them over and over and over
Actually,
again.
they're very simple. If you read them slowly and just take one sentence at a time and, you know, very carefully, you'll see it's actually fairly simple. It's just a matter of controlling the mind and keeping it absorbed, you know, because the mind will go somewhere else. It's just the nature of the mind. Krishna says, Chanchala Himana Krishna. It's a nature. Arjuna said, Chanchala Himana Krishna. Nature of the mind. It goes here and there and here, and it's very flickering, very chanchal. Do you have an example of how? I have an example in mind. Let's see if you can get it. I have an example of mine of something that happens kind of commonly especially in the beginning of the movement, where devotees, when they first went to India, they would find these pictures of Krishna, paintings of Krishna, and it would be just Krishna, just the form of Krishna, and it's actually painted by a Mayavadi, and there's not even a cow or a bird. What to speak of a gopi or devotees and something happening, just Krishna. And sometimes you'll see there's this one famous picture of just Lord Chaitanya. He's sitting there chanting and he's crying or whatever. It's Mayavad. Because Krishna is never alone. Of course, Lord Chaitanya, there's a little wiggle room there because he sometimes was in his Gambhira all alone and, they locked the door and he was there and then he would go out somehow or other, even though all the doors were locked and there was no room, he'd just go out somehow or other. Yeah. But he would always be with his devotees and always be. Krishna's never alone. Krishna can't be alone. He can't stand not to be with his devotees, just like we can't stand without Krishna if we're pure.
I was thinking how that those verses in the 9th chapter of the Gita, 9.4 and 9.5,
Yeah.
how important that is to at least get some sort of concept, correct understanding of, because these verses it was reminding me of those verses reading tonight, because Krishna everything's coming from Krishna, so everything in one sense is nothing but Krishna, but at the same time Krishna is his own person, separate from everything else, and maintains his personality, and so...
Well, this is very nice what you just said, because this also brings us to the point of seeing how the Bhagavatam unpacks the Gita. Mm-hmm. It's all here in the Gita, everything. Nothing is actually missing. It's just that it's compact, it's condensed, so condensed. So these are the verses that he's talking about. Maya tatamidang sarvam jagad avyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshavastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Nachamat stani bhutani pashyame yogamaishvaram bhuta brin nachabhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. It's the same simple example of the sun and the sunshine that was talked about in the beginning of our reading today. It's so simple, but these are very philosophical, deep words that are pregnant with meaning. But it's very simple. Parts of the body. This is the body. It's the body, but it's not the whole body at the same time. You cut it off and you still have your body. So it's your body and it's not your body. Sunshine is the sun and it's not the sun. The sun. We never see the sun without the sunshine. We never see the sunshine without the sun. They're never without each other. And yet we talk about the sun and the sunshine as being two different things. But they're not. At the same time. That's the deepest understanding of the absolute truth. Krishna is the source of everything. At the same time, he's different from it he's everything. He's the energy. His energy is everything. But at the same time, he's the source of everything. And therefore, he's different from the energy.
I was thinking also...
So I'm just repeating everything, I'm sorry.
No, I was thinking in 9/11, Avajananti Mamuda, Manu Shim Tanamashritam, that Krishna says something like, the fools deride me when I appear in this human form. And so it seems like that verse coming after those verses, 9:4 through, 9:10, how Krishna's aloof, he's all pervasive, but he also maintains that himself personally aloof from it, that when like Lord Brahma or someone else sees Krishna in like the human form or as a person, they get bewildered that how can this person be the all-pervading, Brahman who's controlling everything. And it seems like understanding that Krishna also maintains that aloofness as a person from all of that is important.
Yeah. But he was able to show Arjuna, exactly how he pervades everything. Avyakta Sakta Chetasam. He actually showed Arjuna. He was sitting in one place, and no one else had seen this before. This is the Narayan, Arjuna Krishna. That's how you understand this. Arjuna wasn't an ordinary devotee. And even he couldn't remember, being with Krishna before, when he spoke to the sun god, the Gita. And he was saying to him, how can I understand that you're superior, because we're cousins. We're in this room together and we're talking, and how can I understand that you spoke this, millions of years ago to the sun god? And Krishna said, oh, you were there also, you just don't remember. Because we're changing our bodies, even we're eternal associates. We come different times in different places, and we have, even if we're in the spiritual body, we still have a limitation of what we can understand, what we can remember. But Krishna remembers everything. And I think what we're speaking about, and what makes it a little difficult in the beginning, when we first hear all this, all at once, is that there's a process of gradual understanding, until you can actually see, Krishna, that Krishna is just like the sun. Once you get knowledge about it, then you say, oh yeah, I can see that. So it's very complicated. There's so many different energies, so many variety of energies, and the way they're put together is so complicated, and the way they interact with one another in actions and reactions and karmic reactions of everyone all together. It's super complicated, Therefore, it requires, what it says here? It requires seeing through the eyes of realization, of a self-realized person. We have to become the self-realized person, and then we will see through that self-realization how this is true, how Krishna is present everywhere. But not present everywhere in the sense that, this is Krishna, and I can, try to worship my finger, Yes, Matthew.
Hare Krishna. My question is kind of about part of the purport of text 39 that we started on today. It says, a Vaishnava should strictly avoid those who are not interested in hearing about Krishna. It reminds me of something that I've heard is that, for example, out on Harinam, we can give association while simultaneously avoiding taking the bad association.
Yes.
It's like...
and going out and giving books to people, going wherever you go around, whenever you go to do your shopping and the things you have to do during the day to keep yourself together and your other things together. Remind people. I traveled with him all the way from here to India and back. He can tell you. Can you? Every person I get to chant Hare Krishna, almost every person I meet. Isn't it? Sometimes I even get them to write it out and take it with them. Get them to say it. Something. There's always a way to take the person to the next step. Just get them to say Hare Krishna. Who was that? Where was that? Just somebody said something about Krishna, and I said, oh yes, Krishna, Krista, Christo, Christ. Oh, that's very interesting. It's like where was that?
That's in Science of Self.
No. Where was I? Somebody.
You said it here plenty of times. I don't know.
No, I was with somebody recently. Oh yeah, I just went down to get my eyes examined yesterday, and one of the ladies that works there, I got her to say Krishna. What does that mean? And I just told her Krishna, Sanskrit, Krishna, to the Greek Christo, to the Aramaic Krishna, to English Christ. Really? I didn't know that. Wow. And then she said, Hare Krishna. Oh, Hare Krishna. In other words, as much as possible, you can take somebody right to the point, even if they don't, the whole thing is not there, but you can. Somebody auspicious is coming. Somebody auspicious is coming. I can feel the vibes from here. Neil Madhava here. There's an auspicious. You know what that means? Giriraj Maharaj is not far behind. I felt Giriraj Maharaj's presence. Yeah. Hey Nilamadava. Come in, stick. Oh, Hare Krishna. Welcome home. Welcome back. So nice to see you. Is he coming on the 15th?
Is that Wednesday? I've lost track of days.
Today's the 12th.
Yeah. So Wednesday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Taking such good care of him.
Yeah. Trying my best.
We look forward.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I'm going to lure him into our den here, and he's going to sit right over there and tell us everything about Krishna.
Yeah, we're going to bring his chair in a little bit.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Get it ready.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada. Jai. Yes, Prana, I know you're on a roll. Go ahead.
I was just going to defer to Doug, talk to Doug. We had a nice Sankirtan experience today,
Oh,
which was kind of on the same note with what Dr. Matthew said, that we were just in the association of... Anyways, Doug, you tell it.
We were distributing at a Hispanic apartment complex, so most people were Spanish speakers, and Prana and I have been going and trying our best. We have practice with Spanish, so we're just speaking to people and relying on Krishna. People are taking it successful, but today there were these young kids, and they were curious, so they just came up and started asking questions. I was like giving them peanut butter fudge. They were having a good time. Then they went over and they actually talked to Prana as well. We taught them the mantra to chant Hare Krishna, and then at some point the one kid was asking about a book, and I said, yeah, usually we just ask donations for them. And the one kid went and he found a few coins and gave me coins, and I gave a book to one of them, and they started following us around, and they actually started translating for us when we were at the doors to make it easier.
There you go. Well, that makes Sankirtan fun.
The one kid was just eating time. They don't want
to leave.
To the kingdom of God, you have to become as a little child, because they're innocent. They haven't done sex and all that kind of stuff, and they're not all bewildered by all these things in this body and hormones and feelings and agitations and everything. They don't have that so much. They're much free from that kind of stuff. So they can, they can hear the real thing easier. So if we give up sex life altogether, hey, you have to do that for some time to be able to get actually away from it. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Important. Great story. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop now. It's almost 6 o'clock. And when everybody go, there's something from cyberspace. Oh boy.
I believe there's a Shweta-dweep, the Shiva Kumar.
That's Shweta-dweep.
Yes. He says,
Shiv Kumar.
I liked the point on fearlessness mentioned in the 41st verse purport. Quote, one must train one's mind to see everything that exists as an expansion of the potency of the Supreme Lord. By offering respects to everything and meditating upon everything as part of the body of the Lord, one will become free from fear.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Shweta. We miss you, and we are just feeling separation and willing you over here so you can come time we can see you also. But anyway, it is good. The sound is as good. The thought is as good. Perfect example. Even if Krishna is not present, by hearing him, he's present. By remembering him, he's present. There you have it. Okay, we'll stop now so that everyone can go to the Sunday program and preach. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Kavi Yogendra ki jai. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. See you tomorrow right here at 6 o'clock. This Monday, 6 o'clock in the evening, Central Time, USA, right here in Radha Lane in the live studios. The real deal. Come and join us. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.